When I was arrested, prior to my arrest, I had numerous associates and people that always wanted to be around me. I'm a goofy person. I'm easy to get along with, and I like to have fun, but outside of that, I had money. So people like to be around me because they knew that whatever they needed, I would most likely get it, or I'll find a way for them to have it, or whatever. And when I got arrested, everybody disappeared. Everybody. And my mom always tells me that family is all we have. Your family will always be, if everybody else leaves, your mom's always going to be here, and she was there. And before I realized, this is after months of sitting in this county, it took me to realize that my family is the only people that are showing up here and that are doing the small things that really matter. Everything else doesn't matter. I took so much stuff for granted, like time with my family or just seeing their face or hearing their voice. I took all these things for granted, and I had so much materialistic stuff, and none of that matters now. I never thought that being put in a situation like this, everybody would disappear and everybody would just find the next person, just vanish out of my life. I never thought that they would just disappear like that. And when I was arrested, my lowest point, I was in the county jail, and I had beat this girl up, and I had to sit in a room by myself for 28 days, no toilet paper, no type of hygiene. I couldn't keep a towel, I couldn't keep a washcloth. They took my mattress from me every morning about 5:30. I didn't get it back till about 10 o'clock at night. And during this time, it seemed like everything around me crumbled, and all I could have in that little room with me was a Bible. And I can only have one visit a week for 30 minutes. And my mom came to see me and started to share with me and just try to help me make it through that. And that was the worst that I've experienced, I thought, until down the road when my mother relapsed again, and I just felt like I was backed into a corner, and the only thing that I could do was call out to God. And I didn't realize that's where my help and my strength lied until I actually decided to give everything that was on my shoulders to Him. I didn't realize that it would be that much easier in the midst of all that madness and all that chaos if I just turn it over. At times when I had a lot of money, I felt like I was, unstoppable. And even when my money was low, I knew that I would get it back. As soon as my phone rang, I would get that money right back. It didn't matter to me, when, because I knew that time would come eventually. And I didn't, I placed my money before everything. I stopped going to church, and I respect my grandfather a whole lot. He is the main man in my life next to God. And he would call and ask me to come to church and get on the drums, and okay, I'll be there, and my phone would ring to go get money, and I would do that instead of coming to do what my grandfather asked me to do. I realized giving myself to God was the only answer when everything else that I exhausted, all those other options, the people, the things, they all failed. That is when I realized that there was no other way. There is no other option or avenue that I could choose besides God. I definitely feel that people can be outside of this prison and still be in prison in their soul. I was so black and dark in the inside. I felt like I was swimming in a sea of emptiness and was trying to fill that with instant gratification, and it never worked, ever. It may have lasted for a minute, with a blunt or a drink or whatever, but it always went away. But when you fill yourself up with the goodness of Jesus, there's no better feeling than that. And it's not a fleeting feeling that comes and goes. It's something that you want to hold on to, and it's something that you want to share with someone else and try to encourage them to try to grasp a hold of so that they can share that with the next person.